Hello folks, this is Johnny again. First of all, sorry for the bad sound quality with this camera, but I haven't figured out a way how to record this better, so sorry about that. Anyway, this tutorial is about how to get a djent tone out of the Pod HD model, although I'm pretty sure there are already hundreds like this on YouTube. But since a lot of people had this request from me, and since it would fit in pretty good with all my other tutorials, I thought, hey, why not? I'm bored now anyway, so I have nothing better to do. Well, first of all, yeah, there's our dry tone. First thing we need to do is choose an amp, and I like the tread plate amp. Where is it? No, too far. There it is. So, I hope you can hear this good. Yeah, I like that one pretty much. But instead of the tread plate cap, I chose the XXL cap. So basically the setup now is a Mesa Boogie dual rectifier with an angle cap, which is pretty slick. So for the mic, I like to choose the 57 off axis. That gives a really sick basic tone, but there's still a lot of bassy stuff in there, but we're still going to manage that in a bit. So next thing that you definitely need is noise gate. Threshold 50% is already good for my setup. And decay, I like to put down, really down, to get it tight and cutting, but not 0% exactly, a little higher, because at 0% when you hit a note that is supposed to ring out, then it can start to stutter a little bit. Now this helps already pretty good. Now we need a distortion pedal, and what else to choose but the screamer. There we go, screamer. I like to put the drive to 0 because I want to get most distortion out of the amp. The bass, yeah, but the bass maybe not too high because you want the low end of your tone to be tight and not too muddy, so you don't want to have the bass too distorted. I like to crank up the tone of this one, and treble, I like to boost this as well a little bit, maybe to 70. And output, I like to boost the output. Okay, now that we have that, we put in another gate. Threshold 50 is also good again. Decay, also rather quick. Ooh, this is sounding very good. Now let's go into the amp again to set those kinds of things, now that we have our basic setup. The drive doesn't have to be too high, because you don't want it too aggressive, that sound. You want it to be tight and clear. So maybe 30% is good. Before I forget it, let's go in here. Now this information I'm going to give you I got from a tutorial from Paul from chimpspanner. He also has a tutorial on how to make a djent tone. I got most of the information from him actually, so I'll probably just link his video. So anyways, this master in here determines how much the power amp section of the simulation is being driven. And you don't want it to be driven too hard, otherwise the low end gets distorted too much again. And of course we don't want this for tight djenty tones. So I like this to put now to 25% is good. Of course then the overall volume gets a bit lower, so we can boost this again. And also, if we go to the next setup, here the bias. I also got this info from Paul. With the bias you can determine if you want a more tight and clear sound or a more aggressive and more distorted sound. So we, of course, we want it tight and clear, so we go to lower values, best down to 0 directly. And then again the volume gets a bit lower, so boost it again. And there we have a nice tight sound. Okay, now we can set all the other parameters in here. The bass not too high, rather low because it's already very bassy. The mids, I like to crank the mids because on this amp they really give you this growling low end in your tone. It's really awesome. Then the treble. I don't like to put the treble too high because this gives a kind of annoying scratch in there. I'm not sure if you can actually hear this that good with the quality of the camera, but just try it out yourself, you'll see. Presence. Yeah, I like to crank the presence. Treble maybe about 70%. Oh yeah, that's awesome. But of course you most likely need to tweak it a little differently because you probably don't have the same guitar as I do and the same pickups. If anyone wants to know, I have a Schecter C7 Blackjack ATX with Seymour Duncan blackouts in it. Very, very aggressive guitar. So then last thing in here is going to be a Parametric EQ. There we have it. And we go to the Q and put it a bit higher, about 70 or 80. And crank the gain, and what I'm now going to do is look for this annoying frequency, this scratchy thing between 2 to 3 kilohertz, and lower it a little bit. That's already one thing I don't like, frequency 50%. What's that supposed to mean? Someone didn't think really about this. Anyway, let's sweep through it. 50% sounds like 800 to 1 kilohertz, so I need to go higher. Yeah, 70%, that's the annoying spot. So Q, I'll set it to 70 and now lower the gain. 50% means it doesn't cut nor boost, so I'm gonna go down to about 30. Oh yeah. That sounds really, really good. And now I'm gonna lower the lows a little bit, maybe to 35. Yeah, now you got a nice low end. Now maybe a bit higher, maybe to 40%. This sounds so crunchy, you can't believe it. Just try it out yourself. It's freaking good, this thing. So anyways, I hope this helped you out a little bit. And yeah, have fun with it.